So okay, let's go straight.
How are you doing?
We are okay in Lagos. You know, you are familiar with this studio. You've been here so many times. So let's go to the World Cup and give us your take. We are in the last four. How will you assess this year's female World Cup?
I think the competition levels are pretty high. You can see the teams and the way they've played so far from the group stages. This World Cup has been filled with goals. We have over 130 goals right now. And I think really the best four out of all the 24 teams that started out are now left to play out the quarterfinals for a space, in the semi-final. So we have the last four. England, USA, the defending champions, Sweden, shocked Germany, two-time champions, as well as Netherlands. So I think it's been interesting so far, filled with passion, drama, the controversies of VAR. It's been quite interesting to see, and also the African teams' participation specifically, which was what I kept a very close eye on. There's a lot to improve, but I think we.
All right, Katie. Okay, let's look at it. Give us your assessment of what you think of the three teams that qualified that went to represent Africa for the competition.
Well, I think that first of all, I'm going to start with the Super Falcons of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Clearly, the three teams could offer in Africa, knowing that they finished first, second, and third at the African Women's Cup of Nations. The Super Falcons, my expectations were more. This is their eighth time that they are participating in the World Cup. That's their record eighth appearance at the World Cup. My expectation was that at least would have pushed the quarters and semis, knowing the pedigree of the kind of players that we have. But unfortunately, I don't think that in as much as we have the human resources, the material resources to help the players fine-tune to oil and gel as a team is still not forthcoming very well. And I think that the Federation pay a lot of attention to women's football in terms of supporting developmental programs. For Banyana Bayana, who were finalists at the African Women's World Cup as well, they put up a good showing. Unfortunately, the first game against Spain, they had a very with Tembi Katlana scoring that brilliant goal. Unfortunately, again, lack of inexperience, VAR and so many us came into play, and they lost that opening phase. Obviously, the following games, they tried to put in their best, but you could see a lot of inexperience. I presume that there is still more to come from the Banana team. They are quite young, they are vibrant, and they've got talent. For Cameroon, we could see Cameroonian side too had grit, had strength and valor. Their first game against Canada, they feel hard done by conceding against Canada. And their second, they tried to score at least one goal. And their third game, which gave them that round of 16 qualification, very last death, was so impressive. And I feel that the Cameroonian, the Lionesses, they still have a lot to offer, and we'll still see a lot from.
Okay. Okay. Go on.
Yes. So I think that so far the African, they put up a brilliant show, regardless of the limitations that we experience over here on the side of the continent. And the best is yet to come.
You're talking about the best is yet to come. You talk about the Bayana as being young and vibrant and focused. You talked about the Falcons as being there 8 times, and then you are yet to look at the quarterfinals. Talking about live 1991 up to this time. Where do you see the progress coming from? Because in Africa, if we just go over there, since we're just making up the numbers.
Yes, that's why I specifically mentioned developmental programs. We all know that from all the rest of the world invest a lot in developmental programs. So from youth competitions to age competitions. So there's that transition. We get to see that transition from around the world. But in Africa, it seems to be such a huge challenge. So at the end of the day, as much as we're setting records like Onome Ebi making our 5th to work. But who is going to take over from Onome Ebi when she finally, calls it quits? So we need to have that transitional plan from young being groomed, that have been developed to fill in the shoes of our legends and our stars by the time that they are going to leave the stage. We seem to want to have ready-made things, like ready-made. We're not ready, we're not patient enough for that developmental process, and it's really such a shame. We have the talent, we have the quality, but we need to harness all these abilities with proper guidance and proper infrastructure and proper human resources to nurture these talents to make it happen.
Okay. Finally, we can't stop this interview without looking at the issue of VAR, where the African teams had done by it, because it's like our protest. FIFA is trying to look into the Cameroonian umpires and what really happened there.
I think, unfortunately, I have mixed feelings about VAR, to be honest. As much as VAR is a technology that is brought to try and help the game, but at the same time, what exactly is the designated job of VAR? Take, for instance, in the Nigerian game, the final game against, we lost by 1-0. So VAR was called into question 3 occasions. The first goal that was scored by, the game against Germany.
Yeah.
First goal was scored against them in the round of 16. The first goal was scored. VAR was called into question because there seemed to be an obstruction in the view of Inadozie. They wanted to know, was there interference with play? Was there obstruction? Was there a foul going on before that goal was given? The second, the penalty shout. And the third one was a case of mistaken identity, when the ref gave her a card and she wasn't quite sure whether the card was given to the. So if we don't have a clear definition of what VAR's job is specifically, that means they're going to call it for almost anything that has dispute. And then game down. And another issue is if VAR was called to assist, the decision at the end of the day is still sub the center ref. So it's still a human being making the final call. So oftentimes you see that inconsistency in the use of VAR, and a lot of for the female officials, they are doing everything by the book. They are not using discretion in many things. We want to do everything by the book, and that's why oftentimes VAR is called in to try and review certain situations that they might have as well on based on discretion. So, like I said, I have mixed feelings about VAR. VAR still has a long way to go. Unfortunately, it has come up in so many contentious situations. Game, you would imagine that the team feels hard done and threatening to walk off the pitch and all of that, and so many theories came up. But at the end of the day, the intention of VAR is to help the game in contentious situations. But now it looks as though VAR is called in for everything, slows down the game. You stop enjoying the flow of the game, and more importantly, decisions that are taken as a result of VAR review subjective to human error. Okay,
just 60 seconds, project into the teams that make it to the final. USA, England, who do you call? US, England, who wins?
USA, I don't know which team is going to beat this USA team.
So you think...
Very exciting side. Yes, so I think USA will get to that final and probably retain the championship for the first time, because even they've not yet won back-to-back, and I don't see the team that is going to beat this USA side yet.
All right, thank you very much, Katie. We'll come back to you next week, probably after the championship. All right, okay. That was Omokonto Bakare. She's a doctor, she's a physiotherapist, she's a FIFA instructor. Yeah, and she's part of Channel Sports team, but she's right there in Joburg.